Hi, this is the final of 3 videos where I'm showing you all the free alternatives to paid popular plugins I was able to find. Let's start with MX Tune, which is an alternative for Melodyne, or to be fair, any monophonic graphical pitch correction plugin. And I have to confess, this plugin is a bit confusing to work with. The first thing you're going to have to do is enable track. I don't know why it's not enabled by default. I don't know what it does. You just have to click it. Now we can record our vocals into the plugin. Counting on you. When scrolling, try to use Control or Shift to do stuff like horizontal scrolling or zooming in and out vertically. I think we can already click on auto pitch. Counting on you. And you heard some distortion there, right? That happens sometimes with this plugin. Enabled. Counting on me. More smooth. Counting on me. 100%. Counting on me. I'm not sure. Next up, anyways, you have to click Snap Key. And then it's going to generate notes. And you can drag them around like you can in Melodyne, but you have to be careful here. That was so confusing to me. See, I'm dragging this one up. It doesn't do anything. Counting on me. Because currently it's selected. And when it's selected, they don't work for some reason. So you have to click off it. Never right click. Right click is going to delete the note. Only right click very consciously. And left click and drag. You can actually make a new note from scratch. Counting on me. It works. And you can do crazy stuff like you can just drag a note through here. Counting on. Doesn't do anything because it's selected. Click off it. Counting on me. And now you have the per note controls up here. See? I can do the amount 100%. I have to select it first. Counting on me. So it has some artifacts as you can hear. Yeah, double click. Double click and you can bend them. Counting on you. I gotta deselect it again. Counting on you. Now we can clear pitch, clear notes. I shouldn't have cleared the notes, right? Undo. Undo, record it back in. All the same. Let's see what happens if we disable auto pitch. I'm just going to click and drag. Counting on you. It's actually pretty nice. So you can reduce the amount of artifacts you're going to get because you can only really fix the notes that you have to fix, right? Counting on. The first note is a bit flat, so let's try. It's a bit too high actually. Bypassed. Counting. I think it's better. I think I would use this in a professional production if I didn't have, personally I use a repitch. I can tell it not to snap, zoom in, yeah, drag it down a bit more. Counting. I like that. Just a reminder, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and leave a like. Thank you. If you want an 1176 like UAD's 1176, check out Analog Obsession Fetish. It's pretty good. Alright, let's get into some more mastering focused plugins. Pro-L 2, difficult to replace, right? But you could try to do it with something like Wave Breaker. I think one of the best things about it is the UI. You can really monitor well what you're doing. And they're also saying that soon they might have more limiter models, which would be similar to something like the Pro-L 2 by Fabfilter. This is Money Corner, the corner where we talk about money. In the first video of this 3-part series, we checked out 13 free plugin alternatives. By the way, you can watch the full playlist up there. And if you would have bought all of these plugins full price, which you might do if you're crazy and you have really bad luck and you never catch any sales, then you would have spent $1,742. In the second video, I saved you another whopping $1,727. And we looked at 14 plugin alternatives in that video. And if you paid attention, I kept counting the amount of plugins I looked at, but I reset the amount of money every video. Because I think the difference between $3,000 and $4,000 is very abstract, but the difference between $0 and $1,000 is quite impactful. But at the end of the video, we can add up all the money that we saved and see, just for fun, how much money we could have spent on these plugins. Also, Oxford Inflator, a beloved mastering plugin to get more loudness out of something. There is a clone of it. There's the free Chairs Inflator. Also, solid-state bus compressor. Currently, they have an extremely pricey version of this plugin, of this compressor. Maybe check out Analog Obsession's Buster SE. Bypassed. Enabled. On the whole mix, bypassed. Enabled. Also, let me know in the comments, which plugins that I mentioned did you find most valuable? Which ones didn't you know before? And which ones do you think you're going to use a lot? Like which ones you're going to download, which ones are you going to skip? Let me know in the comments. For the last group of plugins, I want to show you alternatives for Shaperbox and something like Rhythmizer or Kickstart or Grow Speed. They all do more or less the same thing. I mean, some of them do more than others. They give you an MSEG multi-segment envelope generator for different effects like volume or panning or filter, or in the case of Shaperbox a lot more. Also time. Some alternatives for plugins like these. Check out what I did with Fabfilter on this Mono Fury solo. Without. And with. Fabfilter has a couple different options. You can make pan envelopes, volume, or filters. Here I used the volume envelope to make some movement, and I offset the left and right channels with the stereo knob. Or on this FB3300, I put Flux Mini to give kind of a side chain kickstart style effect. You can also make it slower. You can enable a filter. And also, if you want something to shape time, check out Time 1. Yeah, that's enough. All right, as our last plugin, let's look at Spectral Compressor. Whether you believe it or not, this is kind of a free version of Soothe2 or something like Smooth Operator Pro. Let's turn up the ratio a bit for our downwards compression, and then we start turning down the threshold. Now it's trying to flatten out everything spectrally so it's the same as pink noise. Maybe we want this a bit less detailed though, so we can make the window size lower. Now it's a lot more gentle. Let's increase the output gain a bit to compensate. It's following pink noise, right? But we can increase the slope a bit more like this. Give it a bit of an arc. Bypassed. Enabled. Honestly, this sounds great and it's really good to work with. I have to say, I nearly prefer it to Smooth Operator Pro. This threshold slope and threshold curve, these are amazing controls. This is the first time I really tried it and I'm really impressed. Of course, you can do stuff like just control the high end with it. All right. This is Spectral Compressor. So the first video, $1,742. Second video, $1,727. And this fourth video, only $1,485. Add them all together and you get $4,954. That's how much money you could have saved if you would have bought all of the plugins paid at full price. That's Money Corner for you. This is what the Money Corner is for. I know I'm arguing in these videos that you don't really need to buy any plugins anymore because everything is out there for free. But if you still want to buy some plugins, because I think some paid plugins still have some benefits over some of these free plugins I showed, maybe not necessarily in sound quality, but probably more so in workflow or just aesthetic or stability potentially. If you're going to buy something, you could do it through my Plugin Boutique affiliate link. It's in the description, and what that means is just you click through that link and you can buy anything you want, anything you would buy anyways, and a little percentage of what you spend gets paid out to me, and you're supporting me as a content creator, as an artist, as a human. Also, I would really like to know which of the plugins I mentioned are you going to download? Which are you going to use, and which ones do you think are maybe not great alternatives in the first place? Now, if you want to watch another video about free plugins, you could check out this one I made, which is like a long-term review of more or less obscure free plugins, where I actually talk about if I end up using these free plugins even after I make videos about them. In some cases I do, in other cases I do prefer the paid options, and this is exactly what I talk about in that video. But if you now have plenty of free plugins and you want to focus more on making music, in this video I give you some ideas how you could make your arrangement more interesting. I think this is a really nice video. You could also get some more views. And again, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, hit the like button. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.